This conversation begins in the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 39, verse 2. That's Genesis chapter 39, verse 2. Verse 2 reads like this: The Lord was with Joseph, and Joseph was a prosperous man, and Joseph was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. Now, we read this verse last week, and there's just so much in this verse. I wanted to bring it back so we can dig just a little bit deeper. In last week's conversation, there were two questions on the floor. And one question was Joseph sold, S-O-L-D, or was Joseph sold, S-O-W-E-D? And we came back with the conclusion that, guess what, both were right. He was sold, S-O-L-D, into slavery by his brothers because they wanted to harm him. They hated him. They disliked him. They envied him with a passion. But then we find out that he was also sold, S-O-W-E-D, into slavery by God. Because whenever you have an assignment from God, God is going to give you favor. Joseph had favor. His brothers disliked it, so they tried to get rid of him. But when God has an assignment, God's going to see his assignment through. Joseph told his brothers in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, I'm reading from the NIV, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. You see, the famine was coming through the land, and God needed Joseph moved from where he was because he couldn't do anything where he was. They would smother him. They would hold him down. They were already trying to kill him. God had to implant Joseph into Egypt and put him up under Pharaoh, someone who could groom him to be a prince. And Joseph had that type of favor. You can have that type of favor also. Are you working in the assignment in the field that God has anointed you for? Is God with you? We all want his favor. Some of us want his favor, but we don't want him to be with us. It's like, God, I want your favor. I want your blessing, but God, can you just social distance yourself from me? I don't want you all up on me. I want the blessing, but I don't want you all up in my business. That's the kind of way we talk to God. We got this stinky thinking kind of mentality. We want his favor, we want his blessings, but we don't want him all up in our business. I want the favor, but I don't want you with that favor until I really need you. That's it. I want you, but I want you when I want you. I don't want you just always up in my business. Isn't it something? That's the way we are. We're told that Joseph had so much favor that Potiphar, Pharaoh's captain of his guard, could see it all upon him. That's the kind of favor you and I want. That's the kind of favor we need for our assignment. That's the kind of favor we should have. But God has to be with us. Is God with you? Are you allowing God to be with you, or are you trying to social distance yourself away from God? Joseph embraced the relationship he had with God. It was reciprocal. It was like the relationship that God had with Adam in the garden, a reciprocal type of relationship where God is with him, and guess what? And he's with God. I don't care where you are. I don't care what your situation is, what your environment is. You can prosper if God is with you. Here you have Joseph, a slave in Egypt. Who would have imagined Joseph receiving all this favor? But we also see the Lord with what I call the saints of yesteryears. The patriarchs of the faith. We know that Joseph has favor with God. Yes, he has favor with God. But also Joseph's father, Jacob, had favor with God. Joseph's grandfather, Isaac, had favor with God. See where I'm going? Joseph's great-grandfather, Abraham, had favor with God. I'll call it a generational favor. Abraham was promised that he would be a great nation. And as the great-grandfather of his great-grandson, Joseph, who's a progenitor of that favor. What a blessing. You see, God is still working it out on Abraham's behalf. Let me ask you this question. Joseph was the one. Abraham was the one. Jacob was the one. Isaac was the one. Are you the one? What one? Are you the one in your family who would tie your legacy to being with God, allowing God to be with you? Are you the one for your family? A lot of your family members won't take this assignment. It's a tough assignment. So God knows who to give it to, and he gives you favor once he gives it to you. But are you dropping the ball? Have you picked up this mantle and ran with it? Or are you the one who's going to tie legacy for your family from generation to generation to generation that it started with you? The granddaddy, great-great-granddaddy was a believer in Jesus Christ, and he allowed God to be with him. Is that you? Will that be spoken over your name? Is that what's going to be on your headstone? Is that what, when the family shows the old videos, it's going to be, that's him, that's him? Yeah, he's the one that got us on this right track. That's him. He's the one that got us set up to where we can have victory in eternity. I pray that it's you. Keep in mind, God has always been with his creation. From the beginning of time, he said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. He was with Adam in the garden. I'm telling you, and that's a reciprocal type of relationship. When God is with you and you're with him, what a blessing. Then we see God being with brother Noah during the flood. And then we see God being with Moses as Moses leads the children of Israel out of slavery. And then we see God being with King David as he defeats Goliath and all of Israel's enemies. And then we see King David's son, King Solomon, the son of peace, coming into his own, one of the wisest men of all time. If God is with you, who can be against you? I pray that when God gives you an assignment, you pick it up, you honor it, you carry it well, you word well, because favor is coming with it. And then we see God being with Israel as their king. And those knuckleheads decided that they wanted an earthly king to be like the other nations. Isn't that something? I mean, why would you put an unnecessary layer between you and God? That's what they did, though. I call this modern day wanting to be with the Joneses. That's what they wanted. They wanted to be like the Joneses. And then we see God giving us 400 years, if you will, of silence. I'll call that God going off the grid. God went off the grid because Israel had fallen in love with herself. Ask yourself the question, what layer or layers have you placed between your relationship with God? What or whom are you worshiping? Fill in the blank. I used to worship basketball. I'm going to tell you right now, basketball used to be my God until I had to divorce it. When I realized what I was doing, I dropped it like a hot potato. I pray that you will do the same. I pray that this message will encourage you to be with God and let God be with you. Then we leap over into the New Testament where we see God with Mary and Joseph as she gives birth to Jesus. And then we see God with her cousin Elizabeth and Zacharias as she gives birth to John the Baptist, the forerunner for Jesus Christ. And then we see Jesus being with the disciples as he teaches and mentors them before he returns to glory to be with his Father. You see that to be with. Jesus leaves this earthly realm, but he doesn't leave us fatherless. He leaves the Holy Spirit to be with us. That's what Jesus does. As the Lord was with Joseph, Jesus leaves us dunamis. He leaves us power right here on earth. You see, God never left his children fatherless. That's the kind of God we serve. He's always been with us. It's just that we hadn't been with him. Jesus was also with Apostle Paul. Jesus took a killer and converted him into being a deliverer. I mean, Paul hated the church, but after his conversion, he became the biggest advocate of the faith because the Lord was with him. Let me just flow for a moment. I truly believe, and I do mean this, I truly believe that we want God to be with us. However, some of you have a qualifier. Think how we think. God, I want you with me, but I want you with me when I want you, when I need you. I don't want you all up in my business 24/7, but when I need you, God, I want you to come running. That's how we think. That's how we think. I mean, when I'm lying and cheating and fornicating, Lord, I don't want you all up in my business. I don't want you pulling all up on me. No, I don't want that. And when I'm with my boys and with the strip club and we're trying to make it rain, Father, I don't need you all with me. I don't need that. I don't need you with me when I'm trying to get my swerve on, get my groove on. I mean, I need some privacy, Lord. That's how we think. That's how we talk. The word tells us that the Lord was with Joseph, and Joseph didn't have a qualifier. No. Joseph allowed God to be with him 24/7. Who do you have residing with you? I mean, who's shacking and smacking up with you? I know it's not the Lord. So who is that person that you think more highly of than the Lord? That you desire to be with that fleshly fulfillment than with the Creator of your soul? How often have you told your flesh no? Versus how often have you told God no? Whoa. What's the tally? What's the score there? I mean, just keeping it real. As you say, keeping it 100. Think about that for a moment. We treat God like he's a part of a WWE wrestling match team. And we don't call upon him until the opponent is beating us up, until our issues are weighing us down. And then we try to tag him in. Well, what are you tagging over there? He's not there. You didn't bring him with you. He's not with you. So why are you tagging him now when you didn't bring him with you? That's what we think. We think he'll just come tag in when you hadn't been with him and he hadn't been with you. You better tag in that rascal you've been with, that girl you've been with. That's who you better be tagging in. I mean, just look how we treat God. When we're going to court and we really need God, then we make these statements like, well, God, you're a lawyer in the courtroom. And don't let us be going to the hospital to have surgery because we sure going to pull on this coat string. Well, God, you're a surgeon in the operating room. See, we want him when we want him, but we don't want him 24/7. My granddaughter and I was riding down the freeway with my wife, and she calls my wife Gigi. And she just started singing this nice little nursery rhyme that just caught us both off guard. It was just so nice, though. She says, if I had a little red box to put my Gigi in, I'd take her out and kiss, 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 and put her back again. And then she included me on the next verse. Oh, if I had a little red box to put my granddaddy in, I'd take him out and kiss, 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 and put him back again. Now, I thought that was so cute, me and my wife. We just laughed and we said, sing it again, baby, sing it again. We thought that was so cute. But it reminded me of what we're doing with our relationship with Jesus Christ. If we had a little red box, we'd put him in. I think that's what we do. We put him in a box and we want to pull him out when we want to use him. That's what we've done. I mean, we made a nursery rhyme out of Jesus Christ. It's what we tried to do. We tried to place him in this little red box with all these qualifications, all these parameters. That's what you've done. We're treating him like he's an Amazon or a FedEx package, and we don't want to open him or use him until we get ready. Now, we can't place Jesus in a physical box. I mean, come on. He's got too much power for that. He's almighty. But let me tell you something. We do have the power to place ourselves in our own personal boxes. What boxes do you find closing in on you this morning? Some of you are trapped within family biases and prejudice. Some of you are. Some of you are trapped within a box of always complaining. Some of you are trapped within a box of always having a negative attitude. Some of you are trapped within boxes of believing in conspiracy theories. I mean, and some of you are trapped in boxes of forever being the victim. Some of you are trapped in boxes of insecurities. Some of you are trapped in boxes of suicidal thoughts. And I'm praying for you. Some of you are trapped in boxes of always second guessing yourself. Some of you are trapped in boxes of abandonment issues. I mean, some of you are trapped in boxes of daddy issues, and some of you are trapped in boxes of baby mama drama issues. I mean, 24/7, you just can't get out. It's like an evolving cycle. Some of you are trapped in boxes of generational curses. You need to pray that thing up off of you. And some of you are trapped in boxes of lust and pornography. Some of you are trapped in boxes of chasing wealth. Some of you are trapped in boxes of hate and bigotry. Some of you are trapped in boxes about what someone said about you. You just can't get over it. I mean, when I really look at this, you and I, we have something in common with the homeless people. And I'm not raining on them. I'm just telling you, we have something in common. They wake up every morning getting up out of their box. That's their home. That's their box. And you and I, we wake up every morning getting up out of our mental box, our mental block, if you will. Truth be told, spiritually, you're the one who's trapped into your own little red box. You place yourself into a timeout inside your own life. That's what you've done. You reduce your life down to a boxed-in lifestyle. So my advice to you is to treat your boxes like you treat your empty FedEx and Amazon boxes. You toss them in the trash. Stop trying to box God out of your life and allow him to come in. Stop trying to act like you're playing basketball and you're trying to box him out for a rebound. I don't think so. You need to let him in. Let God be with you as he was with Joseph. We all want God's favor. That's how you get his favor. You accept your assignment and you allow him to be with you. Keep in mind, God was with his creation before his creation was with him. Romans 8:31 says it like this: if God is for me, then who can be against me? I mean, what else could you possibly want? Everything you do prosper. I mean, you have favor all over you that your friends and family them can see it. You know how they said the rich get richer? Well, guess what? You who have favor from the Lord, you begat more favor from the Lord. So you ask me, so Donnie, what are you really trying to say? Well, it's very simple. The Lord was with Joseph. And if you have accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you have redefined the boxes in your life to allow God to be with you. That's what you've done. That's how you spring all the traps in your life, all those issues in your life. And you discard all the personal boxes in your life. And then you drop the box like you dropped the mic. And you allow the favor of God to be upon you and with you. Don't leave home without Jesus. And don't forget Romans 10:9. Confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord. And believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead. And you too shall be saved. Let it be said that you started off your legacy of your family because you allowed God to be with you. Let it be you. You need to be the one. Yes. Take the assignment. Finish the course. So God can say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Be blessed.